Hello everyone. Welcome to my YNR 24 Spoilers channel. Michael versus Lauren, Billy Reined, and Jack did the same. Spoilers for Wednesday, September 24th, 2025 on The Young and the Restless are available. Fans can anticipate that Lauren Baldwin will defend herself against Michael Baldwin in the upcoming episode. In the meantime, Diane, Jenkins Abbott, Susan Walters, and Jack Abbott control Billy Abbott. Let's discuss the upcoming developments in the CBS soap drama as you continue reading. Lauren Baldwin's position. Let's begin with Lauren, who refuses to back down from Michael. The lawyer should know better than to keep things from his wife, even when he moved from having no work to having 2 covert jobs. When his phone continued ringing, Michael didn't adequately hide it, and Lauren knew him all too well. The main worry of Lauren is that Michael might be working with Victor Newman once more. In addition to accomplishing that, Michael took a job offer from Kane Ashby. Lauren might even tell Kane about that information in an attempt to break Michael's relationship with Victor. But might that action simply put them in serious danger? Read more. Discover the events of YNR's most recent episode. Billy Abbott, Reined, and Jack and Diane are concerned about Billy's recent actions. Billy is furious that Kane has now freed him from their partnership. Billy now wishes to collaborate with Jack in order to defeat Kane. The man is acting very impetuously and hopping from target to target like a ping-pong ball. By reminding Billy that he needs to plan ahead and think strategically, Jack and Diane could help him relax. But Billy is too far gone to be persuaded, so he'll probably threaten to defeat Kane on his own. Jack Abbott's upcoming action. Victor gives forming an alliance with Jack significant thought later this week. I wonder if Jack approaches Victor with a proposal to salvage their businesses. Without a doubt, they will be stronger together. But will they be able to control their rage and paranoia long enough to stop Kane? Read this. Spoilers for The Young and the Restless. Could Billy's crash lead to a hospital crisis? September 24th, 2025, Wednesday. According to spoilers for tomorrow's episode of The Young and the Restless, Audra Charles will irritate Kyle Abbott. Watch as Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, approaches them right before Kyle threatens them or loses it. That in and of itself might persuade Claire to agree to Holden Novak's, Nathan Owen's, proposal to leave town with him. Michael versus Lauren, the turning point. Although Lauren Baldwin and Michael Baldwin's marriage has been shown signs of disintegration for years, the September 24th, 2025 episode appears to be set to put them to the ultimate test. Longtime watchers are aware that Lauren has a history filled with betrayals, near-death situations, and well-thought-out survival strategies. So she is no stranger to deceit, manipulation, and conspiracies. She has, however, always drawn a line in the sand over her marriage. Despite his problematic and frequently dubious past, Michael became her confidant, her lover, and the person who gave her hope that stability was achievable in an unstable world. But what happens if the man she depends on the most turns out to be the custodian of secrets that could jeopardize their safety as well as their marriage? Michael finds himself at the middle of a dangerous tug-of-war after deciding to work covertly for both Victor Newman and Kane Ashby. Victor's riches, power, and brutality are legendary, while Kane's motivations appear to shift every hour, making him more erratic than ever. For Michael, accepting these positions may seem like a calculated risk, a lawyer's calculating move to keep power and influence. However, the secrecy feels like a betrayal to Lauren. The omission, the lying by silence, and the lack of transparency that give her the impression that she is being kept out of the reality of her own life are more problematic than the work itself. Lauren rarely makes a mistake with her intuition. She realized something was wrong as soon as Michael's phone buzzed too frequently. Longtime soap opera viewers can recollect innumerable plots in which women disregarded those minor warning signs until it was too late. Phyllis dismissing the rumors of her lover's treachery, Ashley ignoring Victor's manipulations, or Nikki ignoring the indications of relapse. Lauren is a tough cookie. She won't allow the past to happen again. because it raises the specter of previous betrayals. The idea that Michael might be collaborating with Victor, her worst fear, stings more acutely. Victor and Michael have danced together in the past, and each time it ended badly. When Cain is taken into consideration, the stakes become even higher. Cain is erratic, but Lauren is aware that Victor is dangerous. She might be thinking in terms of self-preservation by even considering telling Cain about Michael's covert activities, cutting the head off the snake before it coils around them. However, Cain does not tolerate treachery. Reporting Michael's involvement might put them both in serious jeopardy and intensify an already explosive situation. The audience may be reminded that beneath the glitz and refinement, Lauren is just as vicious as anybody else when forced into a difficult situation, making her more than just Michael's wife. The only issue is whether this will be the move that keeps her marriage intact or the final nail in the coffin. Billy Abbott was restrained, a powder keg on the verge of blowing up. Billy is one Abbott who has never figured out how to play the long game. In Genoa City tradition, his destructive streak is almost mythical, and his impetuosity is legendary. Whenever he constructs something sturdy, he manages to disassemble it with his own hands. Billy has always been his own worst enemy, from his gambling habits to his indiscretions, from his reckless actions at Chancellor Winters to his self-defeating behavior at Chabot. Now that Billy has been freed from his shaky partnership with Cain Ashby, his rage is exploding, and Jack and Diane need to intervene before the repercussions overwhelms them all. Billy's impulse to turn right around and exact revenge on Cain is typical of his erratic, sentimental, and completely naive conduct. He bounces like a ping-pong ball from one target to the next instead of regrouping, planning, or taking the big picture into account. Depending on who most recently hurt his ego, his enemies' list changes, and at the moment, Cain is that person. The echoes of Billy's anger are almost audible to viewers. The same tone he used when he vowed to exact revenge on Adam for Delia's death. The same compulsive fire that almost ended his relationships with Victoria and Lily. The same recklessness that has repeatedly cost him everything. Although it is not a given, Jack and Diane's assistance is required. For decades, Jack, Billy's gentle older brother, has worked to help him find stability. Jack, however, is no idiot. He is the only one who is familiar with Billy's routine. Diane also has a stake in preventing anarchy within the Abbott household. She needs to demonstrate that she can be a stabilizing influence rather than a destructive force in order to link herself with Jack, as her own resurrection and redemption storyline has been brittle at best. They put up a united front to control Billy, but it's an impossible undertaking. Billy is already too far gone, his thoughts fixed on getting even. Billy's actions are dangerous in this situation, but so is the potential fallout. He runs the risk of entangling Jack and Diane in the conflict, appending Jabot, and starting a corporate war that may destroy the Abbotts if he attacks Cain head-on. Even worse, Cain might have the upper hand due to his impetuous threats. Cain enjoys turmoil and is skilled at taking advantage of people's weaknesses. Cain can turn his anger into an advantage by using a Billy on the warpath as the ideal pawn. Not whether Billy would behave carelessly, but rather whether Jack and Diane will be able to limit the blast radius when he does, is the question. Jack Abbott's next step, a risky partnership. Few friendships are stranger or more dangerous than the one between Jack Abbott and Victor Newman in Genoa City, where adversaries often make odd bedfellows. Their long-running feud, which has its roots in corporate conflict, personal grudges, and power battles, is the stuff of soap opera mythology. It says much about Cain Ashby's level of menace that Jack would even entertain siding with Victor. Fans should be ready for a plot that completely changes the balance of power in Genoa City if Cain has become strong enough to cause Jack and Victor to consider joining forces. Compromise is nothing new to Jack. He has previously formed alliances when necessary, but working with Victor calls for more than just making concessions. It also calls for swallowing his pride. Both men are business titans, suspicious and extremely protective of their families. Their collaboration will be fraught with conflict, distrust, and power struggles. However, it might also be the only way to protect their businesses from Kane's ruthless tactics. Ever the thinker, Victor might see the benefit of temporarily putting aside their animosity in order to defeat a shared foe. Jack, who is realistic but exhausted, would understand that occasionally negotiating with the devil is necessary to survive. Can these two dominant guys actually get along long enough to defeat Kane? History says otherwise. Just their paranoia has the potential to ruin the partnership before it even starts. Both are certain that the other will strike as soon as the chance presents itself, so they will be watching for the slightest indication of betrayal. Kane might win the war if the alliance disintegrates too soon, leaving Jabot and Newman weak, disoriented, and split. What this potential partnership means for the future is its most exciting aspect. The entire dynamic of Genoa City could change if Jack and Victor are able to achieve success together, even for a short time. If these two enemies are able to come to an agreement, just think of the shockwaves. It could lead to brand new plots, conflict, and rivalries that take unforeseen turns. With both men more intent than ever on destroying one another once Kane is out of the way, it could, however, result in a spectacular implosion. In any case, Jack's next action is a risk with lineage, loyalty, and the Abbott and Newman dynasty's fundamental identity, not just a financial choice. The Claire, Audra, and Kyle subplots. The younger generation is subtly developing subplots that may unexpectedly cross with the primary stories of Lauren, Michael, Billy, Jack, and Victor, which take up much of the canvas. Audra Charles, whose ability to push buttons is as keen as her desire, entangles Kyle Abbott once more. Kyle's already eroding temper is put to the ultimate test, and as he loses it, Claire Grace Newman enters the room. In Genoa City, timing is crucial, and Claire's path could completely change if she witnesses Kyle's breakdown. Still figuring out her status in the Newman family, Claire would view Kyle's erratic behavior as a warning sign that would push her in the direction of Holden Novak's proposal. It will be a dramatic change in the Newman story if Sarah and Holden choose to leave town. It won't just be a romantic getaway. The Newman family would be affected by Claire's departure, which would change Victoria's plot and take a possible pawn off Victor's chessboard. Kyle's emotional instability, meanwhile, might be the start of his own downward spiral, making him open to manipulation by Audra, Kane, or anybody else looking to take advantage of his vulnerabilities. Concluding remarks, an accident course. It appears that September 24th, 2025, will be more than simply another day in Genoa City. It is the meeting point of several plot lines, including the intertwined dramas of the younger generation, Michael's perilous double life, Billy's irrational tendencies, Jack's hesitant collaboration with Victor, and Lauren's fear of betrayal. The tension implies that when one thread breaks, the others will follow, and each thread is tense, ready to break. The Young and the Restless is brilliant because it skillfully combines corporate conflict with interpersonal connections, making every choice both significant and personal. They could be saved or destroyed by Lauren's decision to confront or expose Michael. Billy's carelessness has the potential to bring down multiple empires. Jack and Victor's partnership has the potential to either save or destroy the Abbott legacy. The following generation is constantly watching, waiting, and getting ready to assert their position in the cycle of power and treachery, as people like Kyle, Audra, and Claire serve as a reminder in the background. None of these characters are going to escape untouched if history offers any indication. The only thing that is clear is that Genoa City loves turmoil, and September 24th is sure to provide enough of it. On Wednesday, September 24th, 2025, which narrative are you most excited to see? Post your ideas in the space provided for comments below. To find out what happens next, keep watching the soap opera on CBS or Paramount.